Did you see the fucking article today? There was a thing on the CBC, and it was talking about the word freedom, and that the word freedom is being used many times by far-right activists. Freedom. Here, I'll send it to you, Jamie, because this is so fucking... Canada is so fucking wild right now. It's such a like really crazy place. Here it is. Why the word freedom is such a useful rallying cry for protesters. The word has become common amongst far-right groups. So by putting that far right in there, far right, but like there's no indication whatsoever that those truckers in Canada were far right. A lot of those are working class people that just did not like the idea that they were being forced to do this medical procedure in order to keep their job. And so they label them as far right. Yeah. Trudeau personally labeled them as racists and misogynists. Just so he could disparage them. Yeah. Just so like whatever they say doesn't mean anything. Yeah. So this is what they're doing here with the term freedom, which is like one of the most basic tenets for human rights. Your liberty as a human being, your ability to express yourself, your ability to talk about things, to protest, to do what you want.
That's what
freedom
I mean.
is so fucking important.
Inherent in the idea of a free country is the right to protest.
Right.
They go hand in hand. That's why that headline is beyond parody.
But it's actually something that's being pushed on the CBC, which is really crazy.
Well, it's sinister.
Because like they're setting you up for this idea that you requesting freedom, it's like it puts you in the category of anti-vaxxers or racists or far-right people. It's just these weird ways that mainstream media has fallen into labeling people in order to pass an agenda and pass this to put this narrative out there. But the fact that they're willing to do it with something that is so important, like freedom.
Like protesting.
Yeah.
Protesting is fundamental to freedom. So to say that using the word freedom is something that protesters use, you're basically, this is like China. But not just
protesters,
stuff.
Far-right because you can have far-left protesters, and that's not being talked about. Like, freedom is very fucking important.
They don't want freedom.
The fact that they're saying that there's an actual article disparaging the concept of freedom, it's really crazy. It's scary as fuck. And I never would have thought before the pandemic that would have happened to Canada. I thought Canada was this like really friendly, cool place where they kind of got it. Like Canada was kind of better than the United States, in my opinion. I would go up there. I'm like, people are friendlier. They're nice. It's like, I would say with Canada, I always used to use this term, there's 20% less douchebags.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's like. But now under Trudeau, it's like it's become this very weird thing. Have you seen they're trying to push for a digital ID now?
Yeah. I mean, I have a friend, Anna Slatz. She is the founder of Redux, that the website that does she covers a lot of the gender stuff because she's just like a feminist who's on it. And she's Canadian, and I asked her about this, and that there's no way I'm going to be able to, I would butcher her explanation, but she has a really interesting explanation for why Canada has gone in this direction. And I wish I was as smart as her and articulate, but I was like,
we'll try to paraphrase it. What do you mean?
It was essentially something about the way that Canada was founded. So how I wish I could remember it. I just don't know enough about Canada.
Well, they don't have a First Amendment up there. Yeah. First of all, that's a giant factor.
But something too about how
freedom
it's
of speech.
Borderline corporate. It was interesting. I don't know enough about Canada, and I was reading it, and I told her she should.
What is her name?
Anna Slatz.
Does she have an article about this?
I told her she should write one about it because I think it's a really important insight that she has, and she should put it out there. Because I was like, how? Because it seemed very liberal to me. So how is this what seemed like a very liberal, tolerant, open society slipped into what seems like totalitarianism, or slipping into it? They just seem like the entire culture is open to being like anti-freedom, which is strange to me. I always thought of Canada as like, hey, cool, man.
Well, they're being sold a pile of bullshit, and the pile of bullshit is you must give up your freedom in order for others to be equal. You must give up your freedom in order for society to function in the proper way. You must give up your freedom in order for things to be equitable and inclusive and fair. And it's horseshit. And it's a mind fuck. And it's a mind fuck that you hear coming out of the WEF, and Trudeau echoes it, and they say the right words and use the right phrases. And at the end of the day, what's happening is you're going to lose your ability to protest. You're going to lose your ability to express yourself. You're going to lose your ability to have your say when things start moving in this general direction towards the centralized government being able to control various aspects of your life. One of the things that we found out during this protest, the trucker protest, was they froze their fucking bank accounts.
I know, that was nuts.
That is fucking nuts. I mean, that is some dictator, third world, banana republic bullshit.
Yeah.
And the fact that that was going on in Canada, and they justified it, and they didn't just freeze their money, the people that were protesting, they froze the bank accounts of people that were donating money.
Yeah, that was the
fucking insane.
Yeah, it was really, really insane.
So that's what comes when you start using terms like, freedom and connecting it to the far right.
Yeah, but it seems like everything, aren't they connecting like being healthy to the far right now? I've seen so many articles of
exercise.
Oh, the far right obsession with being in shape.
Yeah.
Like it's a bad thing somehow. I don't.
Well, because there's a giant percentage of our population that is really lazy and fat. And if you want those people on your team, you have to say there's nothing wrong with being lazy and fat. And in fact, not being lazy and fat is actually connected to misogyny and racism and fascism and the far right.
But
and then people are like, oh, great, let's eat donuts and just fucking vote blue.